They had to do something different.
It's 5:30. I'll call the meeting to order. Our first item is the Pledge of Allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Mosel, can you read our mission statement?
The mission of the Marshall Public School District is to educate, support, and prepare all learners for success.
Thank you. Our next item is approval of the agenda. I'll need a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Been moved by Bill and seconded by Bill. Any discussion? Not, I'll call for the vote. The agenda is approved. Next item is our public forum. Does anybody from the public like to approach the board? If not, our presentation, Tiffany and guests.
Tiffany, I think.
Just Tiffany.
I think those two would be out of sorts if we made them talk
Okay.
about early childhood science of reading.
If you want to come and join me. Oh, well, okay. Tonight will be a brief presentation, which usually I'm long-winded, so that's a good thing. Okay, and tonight we're going to talk about core literacy for early childhood and how the science of reading has transformed what's happening for literacy in early childhood. If I give you a nod, would you be okay with that? Okay. So the science of reading is something that is fairly new and really is taking over, at least Minnesota. And many people might have heard of the letters training, which a lot of administration has been doing, and now teachers as well. And so through the letters instruction, what we learned as a pre-K through grade 4 literacy team is that we have learned something new. That the way that we learned in college on how to teach the reading skills has changed and changed dramatically. And we had to come up with a plan on how are we going to go forward. And so tonight I'll be sharing kind of what those steps were and our future steps as well. So the pre-K through grade 4 literacy task force started a couple years ago, and Beth Ritter led the group with administration from Parkside and from Southview, and then our reading interventionists as well. And as we met and read articles and went through the letters training, we put these things together as, okay, now we have to figure out the plan. Where are we going next? And so we took our research and decided we're going to build a better program. And that's our groundbreaking, exciting news to share tonight. And I'm going to focus tonight just on our early childhood piece, but what's been nice about our pre-K through grade 4 task force is we're really working together as to how do we build this so that we're starting with our foundational skills and growing upon that so that we're really a cohesive group and that our teachers are all kind of working towards the same goals.
Scaffolding.
Scaffolding, yes. So we started with workshop week, really working on what is the science of reading. And each grade level was kind of at a different place on where their foundational skills were on this new platform of what do we know through best practice now. And so with the science of reading, we're really focusing in early childhood on the phonemic awareness, the phonics, the fluency, vocabulary comprehension, and what are those pre-literacy skills that we can reinforce in the classroom so that as they continue to learn how to read, we can make sure we hit all of those pillars. So our core instruction, and as we sat down together during workshop week everyone was on board with. These are our 3 main areas that we're going to cover each and every day. And we look at Launchpad is really great reading, and I'll have some videos to show you later on so you can see that piece in action. Along with Haggerty, which is really focusing on phonemic awareness, and then our Handwriting Without Tears. Our Handwriting Without Tears piece we have had for the last, I would say, 5 to 7 years, and that was kind of like our meat and potatoes. And so we've really added 2 new curriculum pieces that are really making a huge difference. So with Handwriting Without Tears, what's nice is it really ties into the science of reading, and it is really working towards how do the students, how are they able to retrieve that there's a symbol that correlates to a sound, and they're working on what are some of those skills that we need so that we can correlate that to handwriting. And I have a quick little video. And this piece in the curriculum is at their final stages. So they're working with Play-Doh, and they're rolling out what we call Play-Doh snakes to make the long lines and the curved lines of what the letters look like. They're practicing with chalkboards and using pieces of chalk and little erasers that are built out of sponges and water. So they're playing with the letters, and they're playing that every letter has either a little curve or a big curve or a little line or a big line. And that's where we're building those foundational skills. What you heard in the video was very scripted so that the teacher and the student is hearing what the letter is, what the sound is, so that we're teaching them at the same time. Okay. Really Great Reading is another curriculum that we're using. It's very brief. It's 10 to 15 minutes a day. The students love it because there is a screen component where they have a visual on the screen, but yet the teacher is using the direct teaching through her manual and is explaining what you see on the board. Those are the words that we would be working with. It's amazing what these 4-year-olds are doing, and we use these curriculum items I should have shared with you previously just with our 4-year-olds, not with our 3s. And so Launchpad is very playful. It gets the kids excited because they're playing games. It's interactive, it's kinesthetic, it's multisensory, and it really focuses on those pre-literacy skills. So in the video that we're going to watch today, it is Mrs. Bullerman teaching. So you're not able to see the screen, but more you're able to see the students and what they're able to do.
Okay, so on the board, I have a picture of what? A cat and a bat. All right, listen carefully while I say the parts of one of these words. Cup, at. Then what? If you put it together, if you blend the 2 word parts, cup, at, you get cat. Good job, you're right, it's a cat. So, I am going to show you the name of the images. We have a goat and a bell. If I say L, what's my word? Bell. Good job. All right. Run and Cam. Run. Run. Right?
Stops there. But they're able to already take words apart, make new words put together. When I was teaching preschool, my 4-year-olds were never even attempting those skills. So it's just absolutely awesome to see this in action, and they're being really successful. And not all of the students are participating with their hand gestures, but the teacher is modeling in that. And they're going to use those same gestures and the same curriculum in kindergarten and 1st grade and so forth. So I feel like it's just going to keep building on their skills. The next one I have for you is Haggerty. This is brand new this year. When the teachers received their manual, which is about this thick, and teeny tiny text. They're a little overwhelmed, but what's nice is it's a 3 to 5 minute at a time lesson, and they touch base with it 3 times a day. So it's very brief, perfect for the age of our students that we work with. And it is just text, they don't have a visual, but the teacher is again using different visuals, hand visual signs, so that the students are still engaged with that as well. Every lesson includes 5 phonological skills, along with alphabet and language awareness pieces. So we'll go ahead and watch that video.
Okay, so this is the one where we the first sound of the word in a new word. I will say a word and you will say it back, and then we'll change the first sound to make a new word. Okay, so you, my friends, can say met. If I take off the and I put, how many words do I get? Good job. Everybody say met. If I take off and put a whoop, what do I get? Wet. Good job. Everybody say wet. If I take off whoop and put a whoop, what do I have? Good job. I want to hear a couple more friends. Cat. If I take off the whoop and put a zip, what do I have? Yes. Say jet. If I take off j and put a what do I have? Net. Good job.
They're 4, and they can do that. It just is amazing to me. And they're engaged, and it's just really exciting. So with that, my last slide tonight is just my amazing preschool teachers. These are our gen ed teachers, and they've done a phenomenal job learning the new curriculums and making that commitment every day to be teaching the core literacy skills. Do you have any questions for me?
I think we can be very proud if you've read some of the legislation that's taking place. We're ahead of the ball game, as we always are, with best practice research, and that's thanks to our staff who've done that, who've stepped up to the plate, because you're 2 years ahead of what the state is asking for right now. So thank you.
You're
And
welcome.
Emily wants to know how to do that with her little 1-year-old. So.
Well, it's great that I've been seeing Emily at ECFE.
So you can be very proud, Tiffany. You've done a great job here. We can be very proud in Marshall Public Schools to have this happening too.
It's the great staff that I work with. I feel very blessed. They are amazing educators that put forth so much dedication and effort each and every day.
Well, and the big piece is we put staff development time and money into staff development as well. You know, it's
Right.
not done during the busyness of the day. It's done collectively as additional time paid, which is necessary.
I'm really happy to see the grades follow each other, though.
Right.
So they can learn from, I mean, that's so important, where before you might hit 4th grade and that teacher's doing something totally different, so the kids are lost. They lose a whole year. So I'm really happy with administration by keeping it focused. Stair step in each grade.
Yeah, the ability to read is the key to success in school, in the world, really. Thank you.
And you always do an amazing job, so.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much. If you have any questions, you know where to find us.
Thank you, Tiffany.
Thanks,
Good job.
Tiffany. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Tiff. Great job. I'm glad, I like your enthusiasm too.
These teachers
Our next item is the consent agenda. I'll need a motion.
Motion to approve.
Need a second.
Second.
Jeff, second.
Motion by Bill and seconded by Jeff to approve the consent agenda. Any discussion? I'd like to recognize Eileen Bloomy. I see her official retirement is on this
Oh,
consent
yeah.
agenda, and
Just
she's
years.
been in the copy room for over 40 years, I think.
41 years. yeah.
41 years, so
Yep.
just like to recognize Eileen and her service to Marshall Public Schools.
Solid as a rock for us. Just, we are so blessed to have her.
I'll call for the vote. That is approved. Next item is our financials. I will make a motion to approve,
I'll second.
seconded by Jeff. Any discussion?
Yeah, I just wanted to point out a few of the bills. I did send them to Sarah Brink, our treasurer. There's a payment to the city of Marshall for $42,257.03. That is the city's portion of the community service levy that we receive. There's $7,700 or $7,750 to Strand Homes. That's for the Southview shed that is covered under the construction funds. And then there's a bill to Solar Connection for a little over $545,000. Just want to point that out. That's now that we have everything set up and we got the grant to go through. $492,000 of that is covered by the grant. So, and then in my report, you'll see some savings that we're already showing on those. CBIZ, $5,000. That was the part of the payment for that job description and compensation study that we're working on. A couple other ones I just wanted to point out. TSP for $14,473. That was the architect / engineer that we're using to rebuild the CTI storage shed, which we're required to have by the state. That is covered by insurance, though. We have another bill for American Welding, which is $14,379. That's for some new welding machines that was funded by the LIFT grants. And then we had a bill to Embassy Suites for $8,000. A little over $8,000. That is being covered by the hockey boosters for a tournament that hockey went to, but hockey boosters will be reimbursing the district for that. And the last one, Zion Bank, for $126,000. That's the annual certificate payment for the CTI property and construction project.
Very good. Any questions? Call for the vote. Approved.
Thank you, Dion.
Next item is treasurer's report. Anything to add, Dion?
Just the general fund percentages are looking very good. From previous years, we're about 3.32% off of budget, which has a lot to do with our payout checks in June. So I think we're right on course with it.
Thank you. Any board reports or updates? I missed the Tiger Spotlight.
There wasn't one tonight.
Oh, okay, I'm gonna do it during here then. So, I just want to recognize 60 years ago this week, the boys basketball program won their first and only state championship. So I just want to recognize them. If you remember back then, there was only one class, so it was a quite accomplishment for our little town.
Mm-hmm.
I think they beat the semifinals. I think they beat Bloomington by 20 points and beat Cloquet by a point in the championship. So, which some people say is the best game ever played. So, hats off to our 63 basketball team.
Absolutely.
Anything else? Board reports. Jeremy.
All right, I'll do mine first. I just want to start off by saying thank you to Pride in the Tiger, the board and the donors. Pride in the Tiger recently approved just over $36,000 in spring teacher impact grants for the public and private schools in Marshall. These grants support teaching and learning in our classrooms by funding supplemental materials that we can't afford in our regular budgets, such as field trips, instructional items that would allow teachers to go above and beyond without digging more into their own pockets. Pride in the Tiger also awards annual scholarships to our seniors, supporting them as they leave our school and take that next step. So just very grateful for Pride in the Tiger and wanted to call that out tonight. I also want to share with board and community that one position we've recently filled, we're working on our filling positions for next year, recently filled assistant principal position at Southview Elementary. I'm excited to welcome Mrs. Nicole Johnston to our team. Nicole joins us with a wealth of knowledge and experience in special education. She's served as a special ed teacher and more recently as a director of special ed in the region. So we're excited to have her joining us at Southview next year. Also want to share that this summer we're hosting an ALICE certification training. We have met our threshold to run the training, but we still have some seats available for people that are interested in joining that. The training is open to any agency wanting to participate, such as law enforcement, healthcare, higher ed, businesses, government, houses of worship. Participants leave the training qualified to go back to their place of employment and train others in the ALICE practices. So we are running that June 8th and 9th here in the PD room. Anyone wanting to participate in that can contact our office and we'll help you get set up to register. So I'd like to fill the room with that because it's pretty exciting to get those people to come to us and train to do that. Early childhood, we heard from Tiffany a little bit ago, but a couple other updates that she shared. On February 24th, they hosted their annual father-daughter dance that was very well received. This year, the theme was A Night Under the Stars. They had 250 or so people in attendance, so it was a big event this year. Also, on March 2nd, we hosted the preschool and kindergarten open house. We did them together this year. That worked really well. We had tours of the building. Families got to meet staff, ask questions about the preschool. They played and they registered for classes for next year. It was a successful night with 53 children and 70 parents attending the open house. So that was very well attended. Parkside shares that February was I Love to Read month, and Darcy argues that it's one of the most exciting months at Parkside. So that's always fun. You know, Darcy's passionate about reading. On a daily basis, staff spends countless hours teaching students the skills to become readers, along with developing a passion for reading. So they did a lot of fun things with that, dress-up days, and they had Cat in the Hat and Thing 1 and Thing 2 visit classrooms and some different things like that as well. So that's always fun at our elementary schools. She also shares that they're hosting Junior Achievement Volunteers this year. Junior Achievement Volunteers teach students personal financial responsibility, budgeting, critical thinking, career readiness, and demonstrating entrepreneurial drive. So it really kind of starts from those CEO or CTE things that we're doing in the upper levels as little as our elementary kids. That's something we do every year. We get volunteers that come in. It's a really nice program that's going on right now too. Southview, Pete shares, thank you to the Marshall Noon Rotary Club. They recently donated dictionaries to all of our third graders. You wouldn't think a kid would get excited about getting a dictionary, but you see those kids get the dictionaries, learn how to use them. That's fun every year to get those. And we've talked about there's so many online ways to search things, but the dictionary is still a valuable resource to show kids just that skills to understand how that works. So that's a fun event. He's got some pictures of kids getting them on his report. Also recently had FFA students from the high school come and visit second grade classrooms. That happened just a week ago. They talked about soil and did a fun soil activity with the students at Southview. Fourth grade students are doing their annual historical figure research projects. They write speeches and they memorize them and they present their wax museums at Southview. So there's a few pictures. The first classrooms have started to give those presentations, but all of the fourth grade rooms are doing those. So those are always fun to do. Middle school shares that they had 4 students earn a trip to the state math counts competition that was in Plymouth, Minnesota, by placing first place as a team and among the top students individually in the Southwest chapter in February. So that was exciting for middle school. High school, congratulations to high school senior Georgia Rabe. Georgia earned a perfect score on her ACT earlier this year. Only about 1/4% of students who take the ACT earn that score. In the U.S. high school graduating class of 2022, only 3,376 out of 1.3 million students who took the test earned that score. So that's really an achievement. So you see Georgia.
Name her place.
She will probably name her place, yes. So congratulations, excellent job to her. Senior students at the high school also submitting scholarship applications. They were due on the 13th. That's the Pride in the Tiger scholarships. That committee meets coming up soon to select the winners of those. And the award ceremony, encourage the board to mark the date. It's May 18th at 7 p.m. and it's going to be at the high school. We've been at the high school the last couple of years. It's really a nice event. So encourage people to attend that and celebrate our seniors. Maytech shares a fun way to get into the fun of March Madness. Teachers have taken the concept of the March Madness brackets and they've created some learning brackets with them. An example is the March Madness Mental Health. Mrs. Kern created a bracket for students to take part of voting on their favorite means to help with mental health. And then each day they vote between the different activities that come up. So some fun things taking place at Maytech with that. I would say that Maytech is one of our more creative schools when it comes to celebrating different events like that. So it's fun. I got to spend the morning over there this morning. A lot of fun things taking place over there. Get the kids connected. Activities, a lot of things in the activities region. Again, we're wrapping up winter activities and spring activities. Doesn't feel like spring outside, but spring, it was the first day of spring and spring activities started today. Some winter things though going on. Speech team has been very busy since returning from Harvard. They attended several events the past few weeks. Tigers placed first at Redwood Valley recently. They also share our BPA team. We have to give a shout out to BPA. They have had their most successful season ever this year. They had 7 first-place finishers at state, and Chloe Stevens received the Minnesota Business Professionals of America Joan, I'm going to say it wrong, Spralinger Scholarship. This award is given to just one outstanding BPA member every year. So BPA they've had a very successful season. I want to congratulate them. Chloe was one of the CEO students that visited with us a couple weeks ago at the board. Girls basketball has also had an exciting season. They put together a great run. They won a section championship, and then they went on to state where they took 6th place at the basketball tournament just this past week. So congratulations to our girls basketball team. Wrestling wrapped up season just a week ago with a successful individual state tournament. We had 3 wrestlers place in that tournament. And spring sports, like I said, are now starting. Track, softball, baseball, and golf are taking off. Looks like it's going to be just an interesting start to that season. We'll have some schedule changes, I'm sure. We're really hoping for a dry May so we can get some events in before the school year is over. Director of Teaching and Learning, Beth shares EL team is finishing up access assessment. That's our annual EL assessments. That assesses the 4 domains of reading, writing, speaking, and listening to help us determine whether or not students have met criteria to exit out of EL services. So we measure growth and exit criteria all in that. We should have preliminary results in May before the school year is over. We can use this for planning for next year. I also remind the board of the CEO trade show. That's Wednesday, May 24th. Maybe I'll put some of these dates together and send them out in email to you guys too. May 24th, it's at True Shrimp in Valentin. True Shrimp has really hosted like home base for this group. That's 5 until 7. The show is going to be in conjunction with a chamber business after hours event. So I encourage you all to come and see what the students have been doing. They'll showcase their hard work, and they'll have some items they'll be trying to sell that evening with their personal businesses. They've got some really cool things they're putting together for their personal businesses this spring. Finally, for her report, on Saturday, March 4th, we had our 3rd family engagement event for multilingual families. We again had over 150 people attend that event. These have been very well received. They played an interactive game of Bamboozle with Carrie Loft, and we had a magic show from Brent Allen. And then we had the Kindness Closet open for families to shop there. We had donated over 560 items to families that evening through the Kindness Closet. So that was a good event. Special ed, this time Jackie shares about DHH. It says we have 1 full-time teacher dedicated to meeting the needs of students identified as having the deaf or hard of hearing needs. District has 35 students identified as needing these services from birth through 12th grade. We also have 1 full-time teacher dedicated to meeting, this is good that you're here tonight, maybe you knew this was here. 1 full-time teacher dedicated to meeting the developmental adaptive physical education or DAPE student needs. She happens to be sitting in the audience. These students are in grades K through 12. 51 students currently receiving the service via their plan. And this semester, we had SMSU's Adaptive Physical Education Methods Lab class join at the middle school. This was really cool. They met on the shelf, I believe. They had the kids interacting with the college kids and got to practice their skills through there. It was nice to have all the extra hands, and the kids love working with the other groups too. So that's been really good. A lot of one-on-one time with SMSU and different perspective for DAPE too. So thank you, Kat, for your work with that. Coordinator of Special Projects, Mary Kay, shares in her report that plans continue to be implemented for summer school 2023. The teacher and classroom applications are beginning to come in, so that's been posted. Recruitment efforts are also begun for those for the students and the staff for the summer. Students and staff have the ability to choose from one session, both sessions, or either one, whichever works for them. And she shares another event to marketing calendars. American Indian Spring event for families and students is tentatively set for May 10th. That will be at the MHS cafeteria. That's become an annual event as well. Yeah.
Just a couple of items. Our health insurance RFP, we had 7 bids come in from 7 different companies. Going through those, our best and final offers were due by March 8th. We'll be presenting on Thursday to the insurance committee, which has someone from each bargaining unit and a board member included with our recommendation. That recommendation, as long as the insurance committee is okay with it, will go to the school board at the next board meeting. The job description and grade study update, we are through the job analysis questionnaire phase. We had It's actually updated. 256 employees filled out, which is about 62%, which is great because it was not required. So that was a good turnout on that. In the next couple of weeks, we'll hopefully have some results back from the company, and then we'll start working on the job description portion of it. Wellness Committee has put together a wellness step challenge. We had 172 employees participating. I think we're in week 3 of 6 of that challenge. And then I put together a couple of things. Our solar project, these are just really rough numbers because the solar project went into effect or was hooked up mid-November. This is putting July 1st of last year through July 1st through February 28th comparison from this year to last year. High school, we've saved close to $6,000 in electric bills. Parkside around $3,600. Middle school, it's a little skewed because we have that HVAC system, which we added additional HVAC to the gymnastics area, the locker room, and then updated the gymnasium. So we'll see how that one turns out. I got a feeling that that will flip a little more in favor of a savings. And then Southview, I didn't include because Southview had just opened a year ago in September, and then with the project not being done till November this year, wasn't really a fair comparison. So we'll try to have a comparison maybe from January through June to show the board members in June the savings. And then just put out there too, back in, I think it was September, the board had approved that we do some short-term investing. Now that interest rates have increased, we've had 4 of those mature investments mature, which we've had a little over $13,000 in interest. And then we've reinvested those 4 that have matured because the interest rates continue to be right around that 5% when you go 270 days out. So we'll keep doing so as long as our cash flow allows us.
Thanks. Any questions for the guys? Okay, we'll move on to,
Does the snow on the solar panels impact them pretty much? I mean, it's been pretty tough. They've been covered a lot with snow this winter.
It does. We're advised not to remove the snow, just let it naturally fall off. But yeah, it does. We asked them that. It does affect it.
We can't remove it ourselves without damaging.
They suggest not to.
Yeah, I understand that.
okay, our next item is second review of policies 516.5, 531, 532, 535, and 540. Any questions on those? And then our first review of policy 533.
The wellness policy, there are no major updates to it. Just going through the annual review.
Moving on to our action items, approval of the seniority list.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Bill Swope and seconded by Jeff. Any discussion? No, this is something we just do every year.
Do it every year, yeah.
I will call for the vote. That is approved. Our next item is the Career and Technical Institute Storage Building Construction Bid Recommendation. I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
Seconded by Bill Mosul. Any discussion?
Yeah, I just wanted to, so this is all being covered by our insurance company, less our deductible. We went out to an RFP because it's over that threshold with sealed bids. We received 2 bids, which you can see on the bid tab. Reached out to the insurance company, showing them what the bids were, and based on the bids, we have to go with the lowest bid, which was with Krantz Construction at $532,700. Again, that is covered by the insurance company. As part of the bid, we also added an alternative bid, which we're asking the board to also approve tonight, which would include insulating the walls, which they weren't insulated prior, and then putting tin wall covering up. That's just kind of an advanced step if we were to future use that building for classes out there to have that done while they're building the shed.
Were you pleased with the bids? Were you pleased with the bids that came in?
Yeah, I mean, bids nowadays, they're just really hard to even come by, but yeah, I mean, we were hoping for a couple more. We had a couple more show up at the pre-bid, but it's late. There's a lot of
How
construction
much
companies
insurance
that are
money
busy.
did we get out of the damaged building?
What's that?
How much insurance settlement did we get out of the building that was damaged?
We get what
What it
they're
costs.
matching what it costs. Initially, it was around 470,000 that they estimated, but they're honoring the bids.
Good.
So
Good.
Any further discussion? I'll call for the vote. And that is approved. And the meeting is adjourned. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you, Matt.